What's going on, everybody? This is Black Men Sundays. I'm your host, Corie Sylvester Murray, and we're talking about generational wealth, finance, business, and of course, mental health. And if you need mental health services, check this.
Hi, I'm Dr. Izetta Briggs Bowling. Connect with me for professional mental health counseling and support services designed to help individuals and families navigate stress, trauma, substance use recovery, and life transitions. Email me at drbowling@ibcyclebreakers.org or call me directly at 845-313-4496 for a free consultation. Now, back to Black Men Sundays.
It's a Black Man Sunday. Time to put all childish things away. I refuse to be the man I was yesterday. Gotta put my best foot forward and elevate.
So today's episode is different because we're talking about a shift that's already happening and most people are already left behind. We've got Jamar James in the building. This brother's the founder of DCG Trader. And he's not just teaching people how to trade. He's teaching them how to operate like institutions using AI. And we're talking about building your own trading intelligence. And while most people lose money in the market, and I've lost money in the market, how is technology finally leveling the playing field? If you ever felt like the system wasn't built for you, this conversation is going to challenge that. Jamar, welcome to Black Men Sundays, brother. How you doing?
Man, I'm blessed to be here. And it is a blessing to be here on a Sunday with other passionate Black men. You know, we got dreams to accomplish, so I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Definitely, man. We got Jamar James in the building. And I want to be real with you. Why do most everyday people lose money in the market off rip?
Man, off-grid is not set up for us to win. It's one of the few professions that you don't need a license. You can just enter. It's easily accessible to every person in the world to hop in the market and trade. And so when you have that opportunity, there's normally a knowledge gap and something that you don't know about the market that basically keeps everybody from winning. You know, if it was that easy, everybody would be able to get in there and make money. But there's some things that the institutions do, the manipulation, and also the emotions that go into risking your money on a daily basis that is not talked about. But we're going to talk about that today. It's not set up for you to win. That's the truth.
And I noticed just me doing your research on you, you say people shouldn't be traders. They should be operators. What does that really mean? What does that really mean, though?
Right. It means that people need to have a system. Before you actually start trading, you need to know what the rules of the game are. You need to know how the game is played, right? You need to understand it's manipulated and why it's not set up for you to win. And so when you have that, understanding, you know that you're not forcing your will on the market. You're just playing the game and you're just operating in it. And so there's things in the market like following the money that instead of saying I'm a trader, people think of a day trader as someone sitting in front of their computer all day just making, decisions up and down. Whereas the institutions and the government and how we operate, we basically are operating and playing in this video game, right? In this simulation. And there's rules to it if you understand that it is the easy way to extract money out of it, right? And it gives you a signal and a sign. So you just have to operate the system. So I want to get rid of that, mentality of, hey, you're a trader. You're actually operating and pushing buttons now, right? Wow. The same way that you log into your account and you say, hey, I want to make a sale. I want to buy and I want to sell. It is pushing a button based off decisions, right? And so most traders lose, right? Most operators, they're safe no matter how the game is played, right? Even the way that we have warfare now, right? Before we used to send men over and they would fight hand to hand. Now we have a person in the control center back in Omaha, Nebraska, controlling a drone in the safety of their home, right? Operating inside this war, right? Dropping bombs, making decisions back at the home base where everybody is safe, right? So the mentality and there's a mindset switch that's going off and changing. And I think, this is what this conversation is going to kind of reveal is that there's a mindset switch in life, right? There's a big switch happening between the haves and have-nots. And the middle class is being separated. You're making a decision, either you're going to be up on the upper range or, unfortunately through inflation and the recession and everything else that's happening, there's a bigger wealth gap that's happening right now. And one of the biggest wealth gaps that's happening is in technology, right? There's guys that's getting paid 700, 800,000 to operate AI. And then there's people that's losing their tech job that they've been in for 10 to 20 years because they no longer need it. So we're seeing it in every aspect of life. There's a big shift happening, and it's already happened in trading.
Let me stop you real quick, man. This Black Men Sundays. Obviously, you didn't just learn this. You built your own system. So what does your AI actually do that the average person can't?
So I have 28 agents that's helping me make decisions, and they're giving me a report, and I'm just making a decision: do I buy or sell based on the intelligence that's being collected 24/7 in a day. Whereas when I was trading manually 10, 20 years ago, right, I had to read newspapers. I had to, I still had to have a system, but I was a one man band and you needed other traders. There was information you had to pay for that wasn't available to the average person. You have a Bloomberg terminal right now that costs $25,000 a year to get access to. Institutional traders and institutions have access to it. The average retail person doesn't see the value of paying $25,000 to get access to data. Well, now through AI, we have access to data. Every person has a mini computer in their pocket. They have the computing power to actually get the information. They just don't know what they're looking for and know what questions to ask. So now, knowing that, hey, I was already overwhelmed 10 to 15 years ago, now I've actually asked the right questions of what data is important, right? Where's the money flowing? Before you had to pay for that information. Now with AI, it can actually go out there and get it for you.
And let's talk,
So,
man. Yeah, yeah.
right.
First of all, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. Let me get mine in, man. You coming on here like that? That's what we want. Because this Black Men Sundays, like I said when I in my intro, generational wealth, finance, business, mental health. But let's talk about this wealth, for example. And the conversation I want to have right now is a wealth shift. So, do you believe AI is going to create a new class of wealthy people? And if so, who's getting left behind? Let's have that talk right now on the show early.
AI is just going to expose the haves and have not because creators get paid, right? People that are able to create and have a vision and still able to dream, they get paid. The people that are waiting, right? They are actual workers, and workers are getting replaced. So the have and have nots, it is a big, transition going on right now. Even making yourself more valuable at your current job, right? The people that says, hey, you know what, I have my job, I'm kind of worried. If you don't adapt to technology, if you don't adapt to AI, right? There's one person with AI can replace 10 people with a job, right? Because it is what don't we need humans for? What information, what value are they providing that can't be replaced with technology? So, just to give you, a little bit more insight, man, my background is computer science. So I had a technology degree, a bachelor's of science in computer science. And humans create computers, right? So everything is programmed. And then on finance side, I've had my Series 3 and 6 license. I'm educated in finance, but it is overwhelming to the average individual to know all the laws and things and how it is transitioning. Well, now you have information in finance, two things that people have historically outsourced, right? They historically finance is like, oh, get a financial advisor. Oh, have someone, handle your money for you. Oh, go get a bank account, right? We traditionally haven't been taught to be independent financially. Even with all the athletes, the musicians, right? They're all having someone else manage their finances. So, this is something Black men, you spend so much time and effort working to earn money, but you haven't spent the same amount of time to actually get educated about how money works. And we haven't historically, shared that information because it costs. There is gatekeepers that, hey, you're going to have to pay for the information. And a lot of times when you're so busy working for it, right, you get into survival mode and we try to transition into thrive mode. And no one out there is better than you. They just know something you don't know, right? So we all have access, but sometimes you don't know. You haven't been made aware of it. And that's the important part of knowledge is power, right? We've been taught that since we've been a little kid. I'm from Oakland, California. My mom, my dad, everybody was blue class workers. So they were looking out for me. Hey, I can get you a job. But nobody has really had the income and the finances to say, hey, here's how technology work. Here's how finance work. Here's how you don't have to work as hard. So normally, based on our environment and based on who's in our circle, we are limited by those opportunities. And sometimes you have to get outside that environment to get the knowledge that's normally not preserved and shared amongst the people that's surviving. So that is a key level. When we talk about black men, right? We all trying to help each other. But if no one's outside that ram, we kind of, we're giving the best advice as possible based on our knowledge and based on our experience. And our parents, God bless them, they've done the best they can to give us the information. But if you haven't came from wealth, it is a lot harder to obtain it. The same way that an athlete gets a $2 million contract, the league minimum right now is $4 million. But if they never had 400,000 and they never had to manage that amount of money, how do we expect them to manage 4 million on a minimum contract, right? If they haven't been educated, they spent their whole life playing sports, right? And so it's rare that they came from wealth. So a lot of rules and they have to learn it from somewhere else. They haven't been taught that from day one.
So is the real problem knowledge or discipline? And
In trading,
how does your system fix that though? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I have decisions, probabilities, right? If you have a trade, just saying trading, if someone says take 3-to-1 odds, risk management, so every trade I take 3-to-1 risk management, and this is put together through AI. I said, hey, I don't want to take a trade unless it's 3-to-1. Second, give me a trade that has a 90% probability of success, right? It's just I'm telling you what questions and what criteria that I have. And then I need to have a trade that closes higher than it opened, right? With 3-to-1 odds. I mean, this is a simple way that I'm telling you that my system works, but I get those opportunities. Now, if I take 3 trades with 3-to-1 odds, 2 of them can lose and I'll still be profitable with the third one. Because if 3-to-1 odds, right? 3-to-1 risk reward. For every $1 I'm putting in, I'm attempting to get 3 back. Even if I'm wrong on 2, 3-to-1 odds, 3-to-1 risk reward, it still allows me to win. So I could be a 30% trader and only win 1 out of 3 trades and still be profitable. So now it's risk management, discipline, and also belief. A lot of people don't have belief. They don't test their system long enough. They don't have back testing. They don't have journals, right? And so you have to test the system out before you can be an operator. So I know that I'm not saying that my system is foolproof and I'm going to win 100%. But I know 1 out of 7 trades I'm going to lose, right? So I expect a loss. If I take 7 trades, I expect a loss. I expect a loss every day, but I also expect to be profitable every day. And that becomes risk management, and that's having a system that you believe in. So this is what I show, and I go live and I trade every day, and I take these risks every day, right? And I say seeing is believing. Sometimes people got to see it to believe it. Right. And this is one of the reasons I go live and I use my real name. If you search Jamar James, you have to stand on it. I'm from Oakland, right? You got to stand 10 toes down on whatever you believe in. Right. And that's something that black man has been taught. Right. And, hey, say it with your chest. So the best proof is showing it in action every day. And that is a belief. They ask you what's your flex. I have 2 kids, one in college, and they never see me go to work. So my zip code of where I live, and they never see me being employed. They see me trade their entire life, right? And that's nothing I haven't seen with my parents. My dad was a trucker. My mom worked for the post office, retired 35 years. They were divorced, right? And so my kids get to see me at home with their mom. Their mom never worked, and they never seen me go into a job. That's the flex that I live by, and it's a lifestyle.
On this show, we talk about generational wealth, but on this show, we don't talk about generational curses like you were mentioning, and we don't talk about generational trauma. So the
Right.
fact that you said that they've never seen you go to work, let's have that generational conversation. I mean, that's something we don't have much on the show. Like I said, we talk about establishing generational wealth, We've talked about generational trauma, and now, well, let's have that. Let's just go, man. Go ahead, man.
I mean, I think when you talk about breaking generational curses, right? I tell my kids that you don't take disrespect from anyone. That means that you have self-respect. So certain things that, I don't think they could respect me as much if they see me taking orders from someone else, right? And so they've seen their dad go to sleep and they've seen their dad when they wake up, right? And that is being present. And so owning your time, right? This is something that is breaking generational curses, right? Because I know my mom couldn't make it to my basketball games. My dad, he had to sacrifice and he was on the road. So to me, the strongest thing that you can do is have a strong family unit and be there and be present and show love, right? And this is how, to me, you change the world, right? Financially, if people had the option to be home with their kids and give them love, right, we can change some of the things that, kids are left alone. And I call it the devil's playground, right? Idle mind is bored, and I could have gotten in a lot of trouble, right? So you got to keep busy. But if you have your family and your parents around and they help and guide you and they pour it into your activities, right? This is some of the ways you can break these generational curses and dysfunction, because those are passed down. So my mom tried to pass me a job. She got me a job at 17 at the post office, right? And I did have to I have worked. I worked at the post office. I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years. I did start off as computer science, went to college. I went through the traditional ways. I started a real estate company, right? And I wanted to, grow, and I realized that I wasn't home. I was so busy chasing the American dream that the family, that I was trying to build, I wasn't going to be present for them. So, at 1 year old, 2 year old, my oldest kid, I realized I wasn't there. I wasn't doing real estate deals, and that hurt me. So I think black men, they either want to be like their parents or better than them. And I made that decision at an early age that I want to be better than my parents. That means that I needed to be present. Not that I didn't love my parents and I don't appreciate the sacrifice they made, the working hard, but they was never there. Not because they didn't love me, but because they were surviving and they had to do whatever they could for a paycheck. And I actually lived in Oakland. I go across the bridge, San Francisco, and they had the biggest financial district in the world. And these people are smiling, happy at 9 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock, and they're coming home. They only been to work for an hour or two. And I'm like, man, why is my parents working at 5 o'clock in the morning, getting home at 5 and 6 o'clock at night? And then when they get home, they're dead tired and I only spend an hour with them, right? And that's eating food and then cleaning up, and then they're going to sleep, getting ready for the next day, right? And that's how a lot of my friends and a lot of my environment, that's how I worked for the people that had the parents, for the ones that wasn't strung out on drugs and trying to get away from the realities of real life. So, right across the bridge, I heard that the struggle was real where I was growing up. And on the other side of the bridge, the struggle looked like a fantasy. They went to work and it was done by 9 o'clock. And why none of the people in my environment I ever see live like that? So I made a decision that, man, I want to have that lifestyle. I started making money, a lot of money in real estate. I made my first million by 25, 26, but I wasn't home because I was chasing money. And then it's like, how much money do I need? And then it's like, man, if I didn't have to go to work and I made 50 grand and I didn't have to go anywhere, I didn't have no bills, I'm debt free, right? How would that make me as a parent? So, that was kind of the goal of the lifestyle. And in the DCG environment that I created was really a lifestyle group, right? And we just used the financial markets as a tool to give us more time back. So, as a trader, a lot of people would tell me, man, I don't have the time to trade. I don't have the time. Well, since AI has come around, I was like, man, we're not traders no more. Say you're operators, right? Can you make a decision? Can you run a system, right? You operate your thing on your smartphone. You can operate your refrigerator, your garage door opener, right? You just an operator. Why do we have to complicate the trading thing? Can you make a decision? Can you read? Right? These are skills that we already have. So if someone says, hey, here's 8 trades and there's a 75, 80% probability, right? And they have 3-to-1 risk reward. Can you make a decision that says, yes, buy these? And are you willing to risk it? Are you willing to lose money to have freedom? Right? Because some of us don't have far to lose. We don't have a lot to lose. So what are we afraid of? That is a mental thing. You afraid to be broke? Well, you already broke. So let's do something. Let's do something that can get us over that hump, or at least attempt to. Right? We can live on our knees, or we can live walking upright with our chest out. And if we broke and I lose a trade, I lose every day. And I promote that. I take a loss every day. There's no such thing as a perfect trader, but I make progress. That is the opportunity, and that's where we have to take chances. That's where we have to dream. Right? The struggle is real, is what we've been taught. But man, there's a fantasy world out there. There's a person like my daughter that's never had a struggle in her life. So when she went in an environment and they basically told her that, hey, you need a scholarship. And she told them, you can keep your scholarship. I'm going to college and I'm going to go somewhere better because I don't need to get treated like this, because I have self-respect and I'm not going to take it from a person, a family member, a college. You can't buy me, right? And she just walked away from a scholarship at Howard because she didn't like the dysfunction that she was experiencing. Some people will say, well, it's soft. Other people will say, well, man, what's she going to do? She's like, well, I'm going to apply for another college. It's not going to stop me from going to college, but I don't need to be here on a scholarship. If I don't like it, I don't like it. And these are the choices that, we forget that we have, right? Mm-hmm. We always have a choice.
What do you say to someone who's already tried trading, lost money? They say, I don't trust any of it now.
Right. You don't have to trust it, right? I mean, but are you giving up? Are you quitting? Because the only way they can get you to quit if you don't try. So if I tell a person that, hey, you got 30 days, you can come try it. Actually, I'll let you do it for free. I'll let you come watch me. If you think I'm that much better than you, that you can't do it, I'm telling you that you are just as equal. We are the same. I just know something you don't know, right? And so, yeah, if you're afraid and you don't want to try, then God bless you. You don't try. But if you've already lost, what do you have to lose? You can find a million ways to lose, and you can say everybody is full of it. But when you come in my environment, you see 100 other people and 150 other people, you see that they're living a lifestyle and they haven't given up. Right? Your kids haven't seen you giving up. Your kids still see you dreaming. Right? They still see that you have drive. Right? That is actually telling your kids something too. Are you going to tell your kids to give up because they failed one time? Right? And I tell people that come in my environment that I win. I've been winning for 20 years. I don't plan to stop. So you can be on my team or you can watch me. But I'm going to find a way to win because that's the mindset. There's 1,000 other people winning in the markets, and all they focus on is the people that's losing. So there's 80% of traders lose. I'll say I'm on the 20% side because a lot of people will focus on 80% because 80% of people can't do it. You can accept that you can't do it either, or you can get the information from the 20% that's doing it right. Right. And that's a mindset. And so 80% of trading is mental. People are mentally defeated. You see Kanye West out there and they call him crazy. He's not a man that's been mentally defeated. He's still out there dreaming with his craziness, right? He must be crazy. Him to give up that money, for him to call these people out, he's on medicine. He cannot be sane with his mindset and attitude and willing to speak his mind. And then he has a concert full of people coming to him and bringing him back because he has a gift and he's creating value. And I believe every person that I interact with has a gift, right? Sometimes they just lose their way and they need to be in a different environment where they experience that gift, right? Someone out there think the world of you. Your kids are looking up to you. Somebody in your past, they wish they were in your position, right? You need to be reminded that there's people out there that is looking up to you and also that you're living and they're proud of you. And we don't get that enough in our community, right? We get the comparison to make you feel less than, right? You've lost before and you don't have any hope, right? And that's why I say that, well, what did you lose doing? Oh, I lost trading. All right, well, we're not traders no more. We operators. I don't need a lot to win. Like, some people, when they get into trading, they want to make 10, 20,000 a month. But how about if you made 300 a day? And now you realize, man, that's 1,500 a week. Oh man, that's actually, 6,000 a month. Why am I trying to shoot for 2,000 a day when 6,000 a month will pay for my car payment and my mortgage or what, it'll take care of a bill and it'll give me more time. It'll help me pay down that debt. I'm a realist. People spend 2-3 hours on Uber. 8 hours on Uber trying to make $200-300. I'm pretty confident I can show you how to make $100 pressing a button in 30 minutes. And yes, you could lose, but that's not, people lose a lot more money than that. They lose a lot more time. Yeah, the people that's been in my environment, it's been 4 or 5 years. My retention rate is high. I know I can't save everybody, but the people that come in and they buy into it, they've been with me for 4 or 5 years, 7 years. People have been in it. We've been trading since 2016. Started off in crypto. Then when crypto slowed down, we moved over to options, moved over to futures, right? And I say that we trade everything. We trade opportunity. That's what we look for in the market, opportunity.
Great information, man. Well, I'm gonna open the stage up. Let the brothers from Black Men Sundays embrace with you real quick. So, say your name, the city and state you represent. Let's get it going. Let's go.
Jamar, first of all, thanks for coming on the show, brother. I'm Ray Simmons. I'm out of Rockledge, Florida. I'm glad you came on the show because this is my lane. This is kind of my wheelhouse. And a lot of what you're doing, you really can't put a price on. A lot of people really don't understand that yet. But this is a skill set that you can learn. You only need to learn it once. Of course, it takes practice and it takes a lot of
Right.
dedication, a good trading plan, discipline to follow
Right.
that trading plan. You
Right.
need all of these things, and to be able to automate all of that, to take the human error out of the equation, to take the emotions out of the equation, right? Because let's be
Right.
honest, there's a 90+% failure rate for day traders, and it's not because it doesn't work. It's because they're either not disciplined, they're not patient, they don't chart or journal their mistakes that they're making, and they keep making the same mistakes. In regards to your software, to your system, what kind of, I guess, I'm sure you had to back test the product before you even putting it out. You did a lot of that stuff before releasing it. What type of, the first question, what type of back testing results were you getting from your software in regards to a success rate for trades? And of course,
Yeah.
like you said, this is a game of
So
probability.
I'm gonna tell you guys something that the average person can't understand is that I'm back testing my product and it giving me a 40% win rate, right? And my system is a 3-to-1 system. So when you see a 40%, a person will think that, man, this is not successful. They're looking for 80, 90% success rate. Well, I was looking for a P&L. So I'm looking for profits by the end of the week. I'm not caring about the success rate. And so my back testing and also my background in computer science. In the military, in the Marines, I was in QA. And my first job was QA. And that was quality assurance.
Right.
In development, you have 4 environments. You have a dev environment, you have a QA environment, you have a pre-prod, and you have a production. Right. And a lot of people don't know that the development environment is to get the model working. The QA is to actually know what bugs that you have that are critical. And then what other bugs in pre-prod will create risks in production. Right. And so your pre-prod and production should be alike. Well, in my environment during testing, you always have bugs in software. So you always want to have problems in your testing. But which ones are critical? And in my model, I was taking a lot of losses, but they were all small. And on the back testing, so I would do the back testing for 60 days, right? And then also each sprint is because I have my background is computer science. I've been in school formally, right? So I know that I needed at least 2 weeks worth of data, 3 weeks worth of data for every iteration, every time we made a change. And so there was critical bugs. We had a lot of bugs. And then there's critical risks. And you had those risks in high, medium, and low, right? High and medium, we fixed. The other bugs we let allowed. It's almost like Microsoft. You're going to have some risks, security risks and your reputation, right? But in trading, it was P&L. So even during my testing, I was always profitable, but my percentages were lower and I had bugs. Some of those bugs I was willing to accept because I know that software is never done, right? That's how Microsoft is releasing products in the 80s, right? And everybody, their software sucks, blah, 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 right? But they still had to release it to make progress, right? Whereas other companies, they would take 2, 3, 4 years to release a new version, right? And they try to get it perfect and they lock it down, but they lose an opportunity, right? So everyone that's coming up with their own software, everybody is going to have access to AI. Everyone's going to have access to vibe coding. There's some other things you need to know in technology and understand. What's the main thing? The main thing in trading and the main thing you come in my environment, if I can help you make money, that's what they care about. And I keep those goals first. So how do I help you with your confidence? How do I help you with clarity? It's just money, right? You believe in me if I'm helping you feed your family. Everything else is secondary. And so I keep the first thing first. People work with me because they want to make money. My system has to work, my software and my operator, because people want to make money. They like me, and they will, praise me. They'll do it if I'm helping them make money, and they'll stay with me. Everything
Right,
else is secondary. So
right.
the back testing was, I didn't care about the percentages of what we made. I just care about the weekly how much P&L that we had.
Makes sense. Right, right. And I know how important that is. You know, even at 40% is incredible for the listeners that think that percentage is bad. You know, you can make millions at 40%, at forty
Right.
percent profitability. So, how long did it take you to build? I guess from a prototype standpoint to a finished product. Because I know
Yeah.
you said you have to go through each sprint,
Right.
to make sure that these small bugs are fixed before
Right.
you decide
So
to scale out and something else.
right. So I have an automated trading that I don't share with the public, and that took me 4 months. Right, 4 months of testing every day, going through all the different versions, and then the system I teach is a hybrid system. Right, it's manually operated, but you utilizing technology. So anyone who comes in my environment, they're still trading because I think there's no better trader than a human. If you could actually cheat the system and only have automation, you wouldn't have any Wall Street traders, you wouldn't have any financial analysts, right? And so it's never going to completely, in my belief, there's no system out there that completely works without human intervention. There's no such thing as passive income, right? To me, it's always going to be active income. You're going to have to be actively involved, and your software is nothing is set it and forget it. So in my environment, I just try to come with the reality of, the mindset that it doesn't exist, right? Passive income is going to passively walk away at some point. So if you're not actively involved, right, you're going to actively see it pass away somewhere and be passive when they walked away. And so I tell all my guys that, this is something that we focus on daily. It's a lifestyle. The software is never done, right? It may work for 2, 3, 4, 5 months, and then you have to make updates. That's the reality of trading, and that's why it's so hard, because it's never a point that you're going to master it. You're always making adjustments, right? 4 years ago, we weren't using no AI, right? 2 years ago, there wasn't an AI sentiment. Now we can say trading is changing. There's AI sentiment because you can run a model in ChatGPT and Claude and Gronk, right? And all those models may give you the same trade at the same time, and that becomes AI sentiment. So even the idea of trading has changed from today, from 2 years ago, right? 5 years ago, everybody was talking about crypto. Today, everybody's talking about AI. So there's always shifts that's happening, and that is an important aspect that when people come in my environment, I tell them it's a lifestyle, right? I've been in crypto, I've been in real estate. I spent time in the mortgage, and I took advantage of the opportunities. I've always been in finance and technology, right? Since I've been in college and high school, that's one constant is I've seen the technology change and I've seen the finances change. And one thing that we have constant is time. So what are we willing to do with our time? And how can we make that adjustment? Because that's the one thing that no matter how much money you have, whether you have $1 million or you have $1, we got the same 24 hours in a day. And then success becomes quality of life, quality
Absolutely.
of experience.
As you're aware, traders they have these options with these companies that allow like funded accounts, right? You have to
Yeah.
pass the eval. Don't even I gotta. That's a whole nother conversation on how
Right.
people get people can take advantage of, right? Unless you
Right.
are a real trader and you understand those parameters that they've set up, you can look at
Right.
it. If you are a seasoned trader, you can say, okay, they're setting people up to fail. That drawback is too
Right.
tight. All of these things. One of my goals and plans is to once I'm done um, building out, my software. I know some companies that have funded accounts will allow you to to trade with bots, so to speak.
Right.
Well, not all of them, but some will allow it.
Right.
Have you attempted to use your software to test on any type of those type,
Nah.
companies like those funds or anything, or is that just? I mean, I can
No.
understand where with your background and what you're building, you don't need to really do all that. But when it,
Right.
the reason I asked that question is because of scalability, right? Like you said, a lot of people are focusing on that big number when if you can make $400 a day, it's
Right.
20 trading days in a month, $400 a day. That's a it doesn't seem like
Right.
much, but it adds up in snowballs, like you said, very much. So my question or where that idea came from was being able to create multiple funded accounts, right?
Right.
And scaling out, using a software that's automated so it's hands off altogether. I think that would be a real game changer. You don't have to do this with a funded account. I mean, you can do this. You can just have multiple accounts open and
Right.
use the same strategy. But what are your thoughts on that? Is that something you ever even thought about as far as like scaling out,
Nah,
or
because
no?
it's too hard for me to adjust to all the different rules because I take advantage of the opportunity and I trade momentum. So some
Mhm.
days, those funded accounts, they're going to have you where you have to have an average of 10 days of how much you're trading with, and you have to make a certain amount on a daily basis. So you have to cut it off. Right.
Right,
And so even on the payouts, in my program, I have futures, I have crypto, I have options, and we have some traders that trade off the funded account. And I tell them that's the trading ground. That's just to see if you are able to pass the funded account and see if you are able to abide by the rules. But once you are successful, you trade your real money, you trade your money, right? So this way
right,
you don't have no limitations because we trying to be free. But when it comes to the automated software, right, I'm gonna spend my time and effort. And I mean, tell guys that's using it right now, I have some software, they're just my testers. But after 6 months, I go to the hedge fund. So 2 years ago,
yeah,
you sold strategies to MLMs. And so after I have 6 months of data and multiple people using it, I tell them this is just a beta for you. So if you are working with me privately and testing my automation, after I get the data, I'm taking it to a hedge fund, a private fund, and I sell it to them because I also know that it's going to change in a year or two. It may not be effective, right? It may not work the same, and I spend a lot of time and energy on that software. So once I get it working, it's for sale. All
right.
right, it's a cash out. It is you know we sold one for like 1.5 to an MLM a couple of years ago, and we cashed out. And then the MLM went out of business, and the strategy isn't being used, with all the people, but they had multiple people trading off of it, right? And now we change. There's a new environment. There's a new strategy that can be sold to a hedge fund or to an MLM or whatever. So that's my way of cashing out of
Okay,
something that works, right? Because I'm also not going to use, right? This is my life. I'm dependent on trading. So I trade my accounts to make income and then also build these things so I can cash out on a bigger level. And those are my paydays. Trading, I go for 20 to 40 grand a month trading. I'm not one of those guys that show you, oh man, I made 18, 180,000 in one trade, et cetera, because my family have seen me every day not go to work. So I cannot afford a big loss. I can afford a small loss. I can afford to break even. I can afford a small win and a big win. I cannot envision losing 10 or 20 grand in a trade because that's not the way my life is set up. My life is set up that I'm comfortable, debt free, not getting in big holes. So that's another aspect that I share in my group where other traders are like, man, if you can make blah blah blah, well, I'll sell it to a hedge fund. And I'll let them trade their money. But for right now, I got kids in dance. I got kids playing softball. I got private coaches for them, right? And my mortgage is paid. No bills, no debt. That works for me.
you're comfortable, and you like you said, you have this software, that you
I
most
wake up
likely
every
you
day
can
and I
cash
enjoy
out
my
on.
life. I enjoy trading. I'm looking for the calls. I got the job I want. Right, my kids are healthy and happy. It's like how much is happy.
Oh man, I appreciate it, Jamar. Man, thanks for
Yeah.
answering my questions, man. I'll shut up for real, man. I got tons more questions, but Corie,
Right.
I'm sorry for hijacking the show, sir.
Come on,
Move
man.
on to
Come
the
on. This
next one.
Black Man Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Look, I had you on for a reason. You know how we get down over here, man.
Right. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man.
Hey, I'll tell you
Yeah.
one thing. I had one thing. I'll say, man, pay for speed. Right. You work on the software, pay to get the information. Don't do it by yourself.
Mm.
Right. You can waste 6 months of your life doing it by yourself, or you can pay for help, and it costs you a little bit of money, but you get it done faster, and it's not all on you, and it don't take away your time, and you still have balance.
Before I ask you my last few questions, are you enjoying yourself on Black Men Sundays, brother? Is this the
Oh man,
conversation you was expecting to come on here and give us, brother? Let's go.
man, I was expecting to be around other positive black men that's doing things, and happy I can contribute and share. I'm having a great time right now.
The AI thing is really rocking. A lot of brothers like, nah, bro, I'm on that Chat GPT. Oh, nah, you on that, man? Chat GPT trash, bro. We on that Claude now. What?
ChatGPT just had a release last week. They back. I'm on Claude and ChatGPT.
Yeah, so I was gonna say because I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna keep it real. I use the free versions of both of them for what I needed done. I'm not really doing anything too hyper intensive, but I'm just saying if I had to choose one, would you choose Claude or Chat GPT right now, or is it smart to just had a paid version of both?
Yeah, I had a paid version of both. So I'm paying for Claude. I'm paying for ChatGPT. I'm paying for Grok. I'm paying for Manus. They're all investments in tools, and they're for different things. I build websites in Manus. I use Claude for all my projects, my terminal, my research, reports. I use ChatGPT to confirm code. I use Grok for get everything off social media and Twitter. So I use different tools for different things, and there's different limitations. But once you pay for them all, right, you actually get the advantage of understanding them on a deeper level because then you'll have no limitations. So
Mm,
for me, I'm training other people. I'm teaching other people. I gotta make the investment so I can actually speak on it of which one and why, right? Because you can use them all. I mean, they're all beneficial. They're all better than us being alone. But then also to give an opinion, I had to pay for it, and so that gives me a more thorough version of I'm using them all. I get to see the data, and I've been in QA, so I like testing things to see the difference, and that gives you also an edge as well, because now you always have that thought in your back of mind. Well, man, maybe something else is better. So it's better just to get them and then compare them all. And I tell people they ask me which one should you use. It's like, man, you should use them all, and then you find one in the winner that you like based on what you're doing, because we all think different, right? And
mm.
so it's like a Yelp view. You go to Yelp and people make their decisions off the restaurant. As long as it's not something too blaring, that's like, hey, I'm gonna give it a shot, right? I'm gonna give it a shot so I can actually speak on it from my point of view,
So if someone's starting from zero right now, what's the first
right?
step to thinking like an operator and not like a trader?
I think the operator is the next level if you've already traded and failed. But when you come in, it's almost like there's no way to get to college without going to public school or going to going to elementary, right? You can't skip that level. So I have a trading school that I give the information out for free, and I said, hey, you got YouTube, you got Google, you can learn the foundation. But when it comes to changing and says, hey, you know what? I've learned that side of it. I've actually lost money. I'm going to things. I need to be around other people that are doing it. Now you're paying for speed to expedite
Yeah.
the experience from others. And so, like you wouldn't go program a computer program and build a trading automation if you don't have the basics. So you almost have to get the basics. You have to go to YouTube University, Google University, or you come in an environment, and I tell you what you need to focus on. Because everyone that comes in my environment now, I'm telling them that, hey, I built these AI trading courses where here's how you build your chat GPT. Here's the difference between Gronk. Here's the difference between Manus. Here's why you want to use them. So I'm giving them a foundation on even the differences of AI, and you can use AI to actually train yourself out at the beginning stages, right? If you say, hey, if you type in AI, any AI platform, and say, hey, I want to learn how to trade. I want to buy calls and options. Where should I start? The entry level stuff is now available for everybody. You don't have to pay for that information, right? You can actually get all that information. All the trading information is free. There's an abundance of free information, right? There's information overload and it's free now. Everybody has a free course. Everybody is giving out free information. So what's the separator? It is speed. Can you get profitable? Do you know what you're doing? And that's when you want guidance. Because if I tell you that, hey, all the answers here in this open book test and study for the test, well, the smart person will be like, well, what's going to be on the test? Because this is a big ass book. It's 1,000 pages. Do I just supposed to open the book and read all 1,000, or what can I focus on? That is the cultivation and guidance that I give.
A lot of times when people talk about trading, day trading, or just trading, period, people want that recession proof or that trust recession in trading. So, like, what's broken and who's really faking it out here? Because I see some cats, like you said, I'm doing 50,000 a day. So how do we
Right.
know to lock in with versus okay, this is a gimmick? Because I see that you see the what they call it, the
Right.
quote unquote trust recession. You know what I mean?
Who's available? I tell people, I judge people on their zip code. Where you living? Where your kids going to school? Right? How's your lifestyle? I'm there for my guys. They see me trading live, and they see me taking trades live, and so we're here, and I'm available. And to me, I'm not showing like I got 2 Range Rovers, but I don't show them. Like I don't sell wealth. I sell freedom, and
Mm.
that is a mindset. And so, to me, it is. I was in the Marine Corps. I come from Oakland, right? My thing is, I got to get my hands dirty. I got to do it myself before I can sell it to somebody else. So, I'm not selling them that you're going to make 100,000 a day. I'm selling them that you can actually take care. You can pay off your bills. You can make money trading, and that is the kind of my entryway. Is like, hey, follow me, and we'll win. You'll see me winning. But there's mental things. There's one of the things we haven't talked about: emotional frequency, energetic frequency, belief. Right? Those other things that you got to have to trade. So the trust factor, there is a trust recession, right? Because so many people have been taken advantage of, and that also shows up in trading, right? Some people, they don't believe that they can actually make money because they've never made it. They've been going to MLMs, they've been spending $50, $99 a month, and the shit didn't work out. And so when it comes to somebody else saying, hey, I can help you, they don't even believe it themselves because they've been beaten up and they've lost so much. So those are other obstacles to come over. And that's why I say, Jay, just watch me, right? Just come in. I give you free 5-day access to my environment. You can come watch me. All my programs are month to month. You can quit anytime because whether you're here or not, I'm still gonna make money, right? So that's the option. You're free to leave. You're free to stay. That's how you prove, if a guy is standing on what they're saying, right? Why am I gonna take 5,000 from you and you haven't made 500, right? Most people won't. I charge 500 a month for my mastermind, but I also give you access to it for free because the 500 is a belief thing. My goal is guys to make 500 to $1,000 a day, but you won't
Mm.
pay 500 if you don't believe you can make it. So that actually separates the people that believe and not believe. If you're willing to pay 500 to be in a group, most people won't pay 500 because they've been sold $50, $20, $99, $150. They have low expectations, and they've had low expectations thinking they're going to get big results. If you pay 500, you expect to make 500, right? And if you don't believe you can make 500, you're not going to pay 500. So that eliminates the people that don't have belief,
Mm.
right? Most people lose 500 to $1,000 when they start trading. Every month they losing that. So it's hard for them to pay that when they've already lost that and they've never made it.
Mm.
Right? So when they see me go live and I'm making 500 to 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 a day, and I'm saying I'm only shooting for 40,000 a month. Well, 2,000 a day with 20 trading days, that's 40,000. So if I say that, hey, I can show you how to make 10,000 or 20,000 and it costs you 500 a month, they don't believe that. And I'm trading live every day, Monday through Friday. So at that point, you don't believe in me or you don't believe in yourself. And most people don't believe in themselves.
Mm. Great information, man. Before I let you get out of here, so no brothers already. How can brothers contact you and link up with the programs?
So JamarJames.io is how you schedule an appointment with me. DCGTrader.com is how you get in my environment. If you want to take a free course, it's called DCGChallenge.com. It's a 5-day free trial into my environment where basically you just watch me trade for 5 days, give you access to my Zoom calls. You come in and see what we're doing with AI. And that's that. And then people want to join the mastermind. I work with them for 30 days to show them my trading, how we're using ChatGPT, how we're using Claude. And it's basically a command, a 30-day transformation. Because I think traders that have traded before and now, show them how to use AI, even that's going to be, to me, like a light bulb moment for them.
Yeah, for sure, man. And people that want to make money with you, what's their initial investment? Like if they say, you know what, I just want to come in, I got XYZ dollars, I just want you to, put me up through your system. What's
I'm gonna tell
what's
them.
like an
I'm gonna tell them. I'm gonna tell them treat it like community college. You come in here for the education. Before you put $1,000, $10,000 in, you should travel with 100 because the process is the same. So you don't need money, but you do need to pay for cultivation to be in my environment, and that's kind of like the entry fee. Like before you get a job, you go to college, right? You need to know what you don't know, and I think that is more important than actually saying how much do you need. I tell guys if they're already successful in trading or have been in trading, right? You can test it out with 2 grand, right? Because a normal contract is 500, 700 bucks, right? I buy in the money contracts on options, on futures, right? You're going to need a margin account. We have an environment. I don't trade with a prop firm. All my trades are live, real money, but we do have traders that trade and pass the challenges. And if you are new, that could be a skill, but I wouldn't put you on futures if you're brand new. I will put you in options so you can actually have time because trading is about making decisions. And when people come in as day traders, well, how do I give you the confidence to make decisions real fast in real time every day? And you brand new. Nobody brand new, in my opinion, just start off day trading, but they sell it because it's easy to get in and it's easy to lose money and make money. But how do you build a skill with a bunch of losses every day? So you need time to process it. So I start guys off swing trading and overnight trading, momentum trading. Right. I don't think people that's going to be in the game long term should start off day trading because every day trading you should lose. Right. If you're taking more than one trade, right? Eventually you're gonna have losses. There's not a 100% trader in the market. It doesn't exist. And you need to hear the truth about trading as soon as possible.
Well, there we go, man. I think that sums it up right there. We got Jamar James, founder of DCG Day Trader. This brother gave us the game. He gave us the blueprint. The only question is now, brothers, y'all listening, you gonna be a spectator or you gonna become an operator? Let's run it up because I think I'm about to be an operator. Black Men Sundays, Jamar James, thanks for
Yeah.
coming on the show. Coming out of Oaktown, Oakland, USA, from Florida all the way back. Love, my brother. And we hope to have you back on the show, my man.
Anytime, man. I appreciate you guys letting me get on.
It's a black man Sunday. Time to put all childish things away. I refuse to be the man I was yesterday. Gotta put my